Before Homo erectus set foot in Eurasia, there was another kind of primate already walking the land. It was not man nor ape, and it looked like a baboon, dog-faced, muscular, with arms and slicing canines, but it walked upright on two legs. And here's the wildest part. Paradolichopithecus wasn't even related to us. It was a monkey seemingly on a parallel evolutionary path to our own, one that almost led to the same place. What if the human story hadn't started in Africa? What if Europe already had its own upright walker long before we arrived? This isn't just a monkey. It is a glimpse into a forgotten evolutionary experiment, one that was left out of history before it had a chance to leave a mark. So today, we're taking that story back up. Paradolichopithecus was first discovered in 1903 by a paleontologist in southern France. Researchers determined it belonged to the primate family known as Cercopithidae, specifically the tribe Papioni, which includes modern baboons, macaques, and mongolets. Further fossils were found across an astonishing range, stretching from France and Greece to Central Asia, and possibly as far as China. For years, it was simply written off as a very large monkey, one of many strange creatures to walk the earth during the wild world of the Pliocene. But as paleontologists examined the remains more closely, they made a fascinating discovery. It wasn't just the size, though at nearly 66 pounds, it was a heavyweight among monkeys. What truly caught attention is its entirely unique anatomy. The jaw was powerful with large fangs. The arms were heavily built with strange adaptations. And then came the ankle, the talus bone. This one small piece of the skeleton changed everything. It didn't look like the ankle of a typical monkey, and it definitely didn't look like that of an ape. It looked disturbingly human. The ankle bones of Paradolichopithecus bear a strong resemblance to those of early hominins like Australopithecus, one of our own upright walking ancestors. But Paradolichopithecus wasn't even part of the human lineage. It was a massive, ground-dwelling monkey that lived millions of years ago in Eurasia. And yet, its anatomy suggests that it may have walked more like us than any monkey alive today. To be more precise, its talus bone showed specific adaptations for stability in both dorsiflexion and plantar flexion. Its ankle could handle the full range of motion needed for upright walking. Furthermore, its fibula, the outer bone of the lower leg, played a larger role in weight-bearing than is typical in monkeys. These aren't the traits of an animal that only dabbled in bipedalism. They're the signs of a body that often relied on it. And we know from living primates just how far anatomy can shift under the right conditions. Japanese macaques trained to walk upright for long periods show physical changes in their ankle and leg bones. Over time, their joints remodel, growing more stable and more specialized for bipedal movement. But in Paradolichopithecus, these changes didn't come from training. They came from the pressures of its environment. Millions of years of walking across open terrain, foraging, migrating, and likely needing to stand upright to watch for predators or carry resources. In a continent before hominins, Paradolichopithecus may have been the closest thing to a proto-human that Europe ever saw. Another strange feature that it had was a tail. This feature tells us something. It wasn't just following the same path that we did to become upright dominators. It was following its own evolutionary logic, drifting towards something uncanny. And that brings us to its arms, perhaps the second most unique feature of this monkey. The upper arm bone had a deep groove where the bicep muscle attached, and a large round joint surface, both features that suggest this animal had powerful arms and a highly mobile elbow. This is highly unusual for monkeys of this size, and together with its ankles, researchers hypothesize that its arms may have been for carrying and holding objects. Paradolichopithecus may have been on a very similar evolutionary path to our own. Standing upright allows you to see over the grass and waste less energy while walking long distances. It also frees up your arms while walking, which opens a world of possibilities. You can carry your young, carry food, and even carry weapons. Weapons are one of the things that set our own ancestors apart from any other animal. Without sharp canines like a lion, they gave us the ability to penetrate into the vitals of prey and predator alike. This evened the evolutionary playing field for us, and perhaps Paradolichopithecus was following the same route. We have no direct evidence to support that this primate was using tools. However, there are a handful of monkeys that use tools and even weapons. Macaques in Thailand use stone tools to open shellfish and nuts. Different groups even have different tool-using traditions, which suggests there is cultural transmission. Vertebrate monkeys and baboons have also been observed throwing rocks and sticks at predators or even rivals. This is arguably a very basic form of tool and weapon use. And unlike Paradolitopithecus, these other primates are not proficient at walking upright, nor do they have arms suitable for proficient tool use while standing. All this goes to say, Paradolitopithecus certainly could have used weapons, and if they did, it might be nearly invisible in the archaeological record. Many tools, especially wooden ones, decompose in a matter of years in most cases. A simple wooden stick with a sharpened edge can provide a fatal wound to many animals. Rocks don't even need to be altered and they can be used as deadly weapons. These little guys may have been wielding simple weapons well over 3 million years ago in Europe without leaving a trace. Furthermore, we know very little about the species Paradolitopithecus in general. Our fossils are fairly incomplete and there has been very little research done about this animal. 4 million years of existence and all we have are some fragments of bone. It's a humbling thought, a reminder that the fossil record isn't a complete history. It's more like a shattered mirror, fragments of lost stories that hint at just how many beautiful chapters have been erased from the book of life. The Pliocene and early Pleistocene were wild times. Eurasia was a continent full of megafauna, mammoths, giant hyenas, and saber-toothed cats. And amidst them was this strange, ground-walking monkey, holding its own in an ecosystem that didn't leave much room for the weak. Imagine the lives of these creatures. Like many species of monkey today, there are plenty of predators out to get them. Some researchers have even speculated that their large body size and strength was even in response to predation. But instead of cowering in the trees, like our own ancestors, they fought for survival on the ground. Just look at this video of a baboon alpha male fighting off a leopard. Now imagine a much more dangerous world, where the predators were larger and the monkeys were bipedal. The clashes of this era must have been legendary. Paradolitopithecus was undoubtedly a successful species, as they lived across Eurasia between 5 to 1 million years ago. That's 4 million years of hard-fought existence in a competitive world. And what's even more mind-blowing is that our own ancestors would have met these little guys. Homo erectus, one of the first hominins to leave Africa, called Eurasia home well over 2 million years ago. Considering the range and time frame, there is no doubt that our ancestors encountered this species. Imagine that, actual humans in the form of erectus ran into these little dog-faced bipedal monkeys. At around 60 pounds, they may have not seemed like much of a threat. But remember, they had razor-sharp canines, and they may have used deadly tools. At some point over that 1 million year coexistence, I am certain that some clashes must have occurred. Did Homo erectus hunt young Paradolitopithecus just as the modern Hadza hunt baboons? Did Paradolitopithecus snatch up erectus children when they wandered too far from the fire? What if they all just got along and worked together to fend off the saber cats? This kind of prehistoric fiction is forever fascinating to me because we know scenarios like this must have happened. And it's just so crazy to me that there was actual humans who ran into these little dog-faced, bipedal, leprechaun-sized monsters. Prehistory is truly more mysterious and horrifying than anything Hollywood could dream up. And that's why I've been working to bring it to life. Stay tuned for later this year. Anyways, what I hope you take away from this is that prehistory is far more storied than you could ever imagine. Paradolitopithecus wasn't some fringe creature. It survived for well over 4 million years. It was part of the mainstream evolutionary experiment. What if humans hadn't made it? And this monkey with the strangely human ankle had carried evolution forward. It's speculative, but not impossible. Nature experiments with form all the time. Upright walking, tool use, intelligence, these aren't one-time events. They're simply strategies, and they show up in different lineages when the conditions are right. Paradolitopithecus shows us that our path wasn't the only one. It's just the one that survived. We often tell the story of human evolution as if it were inevitable. But evolution doesn't plan ahead, it just tries again and again. Paradolitopithecus is forgotten today. It left no legends, no paintings, or its own kind of flint knapping. But for an unimaginably long time, it was a powerful terrestrial primate with traits that echo disturbingly close to our own. It didn't become us, but it could have. And that should make us wonder, how many other human stories almost happened, and how many were buried before they began? Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this video, hit that like button, comment below, and of course, subscribe for more strange and fascinating stories from our deep past. And hey, we're almost at 1 million subscribers. We have about 513,000 right now, so not too many more to go, guys, so please come on, subscribe. Alright, I'll see you in the next one. Arrivederci.